please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, the Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream tonight where we will be talking all things NHL. Obviously, quite a bit has happened since the last time I was live. The NHL has officially come out and given us their return to play plan here, and just a lot's happened. The 2014 format's been made official, and overall, we're finding out a lot more about the draft and the draft lottery and how that's going to go. And there's just a lot has happened, so I just wanted to do a discussion / Q&A / whatever you guys want about all things NHL right now. We can talk about the different teams. We can talk about the matchups. There's a lot going on, to say the least, so there's plenty to talk about. And it's been a while since I've been live. I think last weekend sometime was the last time I went live, so it's been basically like almost a week. So let's see, we got quite a few in the chat already here. NFL Nation, Woody, TTC, Brandon, Bruins fan, Jack. What is going on, everybody? Thank you guys all so much for watching. Very, very much appreciated. I just sent the notification out on Discord, so we should have some more people. Coming in as the night goes along. Hopefully, this is a good stream and a fun time, and it's great to see everyone here. So let's see, who did I yell at my television for the most dirty hits? Definitely Matt Cook, my least favorite player of all time. I love hits and physicality and violence in general, but Matt Cook was an absolute piece of garbage, so I would definitely say Matt Cook. Hey, what's going on? NHL Hockey News Reports. I would not say that the Habs are in a very good spot, considering they're the worst team to make the 2014 format, and they're probably not going to get the first pick. So it depends on if they lose to Pittsburgh or not. I mean, they're not even going to be in the lottery if they end up beating Pittsburgh, but I don't see them beating Pittsburgh. I know there's been a lot of talk about Carey Price getting hot and Pittsburgh getting upset. I just don't see that happening, but we'll see. Hey, what's going on, Buck Skull Gang? That's all right. If you guys can't be here long, that's fine. You don't need to tell me. You can just leave. What's going on, Bruin fan? Boston is not going to be the 1 seed. Boston, I'm calling this now. Boston is not going to end up being the 1 seed in the East. They are going to lose probably 2, maybe all 3 of those round-robin games, and I don't see Boston being the 1 seed. I see them dropping possibly all the way to 4. So I don't think it's going to be either the Blue Jackets or the Leafs. Boston's going to drop down in the seeding, I think. I don't see them beating Washington, and I don't see them beating Tampa Bay. What's going on, Vaughn? What's going on, Eddie? Transportation Land here as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. No, the Rangers cannot get the first overall pick if they win the playoff round. No. Guys, the teams that get added to the draft lottery, if they lose, are the teams that can be added to the draft lottery are the teams that lose the play-in round. The teams that lose the play-in round are the teams that get potentially added to Phase 2 of the draft lottery. Now, during Phase 1 of the draft lottery, we could end up with it just being those 7 teams. It could just be those 7 teams. It could be the top 3 picks could go to any of those 7 teams that won't be playing another game this season. And then there is no Phase 2 of the draft lottery. It just gets ordered. It just gets ordered by inverse standings of how the teams finish. But if the Rangers win. Oh, all right. Now, if you're taking, okay, I didn't realize that. The Rangers have Carolina's first pick. So if the Rangers win the Stanley Cup, or if the Rangers beat Carolina in the play-in round, then Carolina could go. So then Carolina could get the draft lottery win. Listen, the percentages are so low for any of those play-in teams. I don't think that any of those play-in teams are going to get a top 3 pick. I just don't. I think the top 3 pick are going to go to those 7 teams that absolutely really, didn't even suck so bad they're not even in the 2014 format. I forgot that the Rangers have Carolina's pick. So then if they beat Carolina, they could go and win. You're right, Brandon. They could end up getting the first overall pick as well, but that's not going to happen. Hey, what's going on? Sal's in the chat. Welcome, Sal. Thank you so much. Vegas Vix as well. Rebecca's here. Do I think that the Blues can repeat? Can they? Absolutely. Will they? I don't think so, but they absolutely can. I think this is such a restart for everybody that the playing field, I don't know what teams are going to play well, or what teams are going to come out of this playing well and which ones aren't. It's a literal complete reset for all 24 of these teams. So they certainly can. The Blues are a very good team. They have a great goaltender. They're a deep team. They literally just won last year, so they absolutely can win the cup again. Am I picking the Blues to win again? No. I think that there are better teams in the West, and it's so hard to repeat. It's so hard to do that 2 years in a row. I think it's very unlikely that the Blues win again. Hey, Aiden, what's going on? Yeah, we'll see what Tampa Bay does. Tampa Bay was not too happy with this format. I think they're afraid of what might happen again, but we'll see. Tampa is a team that really does struggle in the playoffs a lot. So hopefully they do a little better this year. I haven't done my predictions yet. I'm gonna wait until further down the line before I do my playoff bracket predictions. But we'll see what Tampa does this year. No, it's not gonna be rigged, NFL Nation. You are such a troll. What's going on? Justin, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. You're not going to get a hard date, Vaughn, on when the NHL is coming back for at least until July. Maybe even later than that. You're not getting a date anytime soon. Detroit fans are pissed. Detroit has good odds in the first phase of the lottery. So I don't know why they'd be overly upset. It's gonna be interesting, but it's not all that different than the regular lottery. The phase 2 thing makes it a little more complicated than it normally is, but basically how it ends up is the teams that don't make the playoffs have a chance at the first overall pick, which is always the case. So it's really not that much different. There's no guarantee that Boston versus Tampa will be the second round matchup. There is no guarantee of that. Either of those teams could get knocked out in the first round. If Boston ends up dropping in the seeding and ends up playing the Rangers, New York could beat the Bruins. New York has an offense that could straight up beat the Bruins. I mean, there is no guarantee of any team getting that deep. Predicting this is going to be impossible because you just don't know. You just don't know. Like I feel like anything can happen at this point. Hey, what's going on, THG? Do I think the Leafs will beat Columbus? Wait until my predictions. I'll do my play-in round predictions when we get closer to it actually happening, and I will give you your answer on that. Yeah, I mean, the Rask has had plenty of rest, and Rask is, he's Tuukka Rask. He was outstanding this season, but every other goalie's had 2 months of rest as well. Andrei Vasilevsky's ready to go. Carter Hart in Philadelphia is ready to go. A wild card for me that I have no clue what he's going to look like is Braden Holtby, because Braden Holtby had a horrendous season this year by Braden Holtby standards. And not just by Braden Holtby standards, but by NHL standards. He had a bad year this year. But does this 2-month reset just completely allow Braden Holtby to reset and come back as the old Braden Holtby? It's possible. I mean, maybe he ends up, playing really, really well when they come back. it's a complete reset for everybody. And that's, I think, what makes this so unpredictable and so interesting. That this is literally a complete reset for everybody. There is no home. There is no like really home and away this year. The whole thing is going to be played in 2 cities. The whole thing's going to be played in 2 cities. So there is no home advantage. There's no away. Everyone is playing in the same 2 arenas. The East is playing in one city. The West is playing in another. And yeah, I don't know what they're going to do for the Cup, if they're just going to put it in one place or if they'll travel back and forth. That wouldn't make any sense, really. I don't know. No, there's not going to be any fans in the arenas, guys. No fans. There was never, ever going to be any fans in the arenas for this. Do I think the Leafs are stronger coming back? The Leafs are better coming back because they're getting Morgan Rielly and Jake Muzzin back. That's huge for their defense. I mean, we know how bad the Leafs defense is. Hey, Leafs forever, what's going on? We know that their defense is an absolute problem. But they get Jake Muzzin back, who is their best defensive defenseman. They get Morgan Rielly back, who I think is their best overall defenseman. So the fact that they're going to be healthier is a huge boost to the Leafs. Yep, Panarin got snubbed for Hart. Absolutely. He should have been in the top 3. No way David Pastrnak should be in the MVP top 3 for voting. Pastrnak shouldn't even be in top 5, in my opinion. He literally plays with Bergeron and Marchand, who are just as good of players and just as valuable of players. I mean, you know, Panarin, what Panarin means to the Rangers, like, look at it this way. If you take Artemi Panarin off of the Rangers are probably near the bottom, probably the bottom of the Metro Division. If you take David Pastrnak off of the Boston Bruins, the Bruins are still one of the playoff team in the Eastern Conference. So that's where value comes in. And you know, Panarin is much more valuable to the Rangers in their lineup than Pastrnak is to Boston. Yeah, Steven Stamkos should be ready to go for the Lightning. That should be good. Yeah, well, barely. It's not like Rielly didn't play a lot at the end of this season. He was barely back, and he was probably playing injured. Yes, if the season continued normally, Aiden, the Leafs would be in the playoffs. Yes, they would have finished third. They would have finished third in the Atlantic, and they would have matched up against Tampa Bay in the first round, and I think the Lightning would have destroyed them. Not everyone is back. Most players are going to be back when this starts up again. There are some longer-term injuries out there, though, where players... Nick Bjugstad, for example, for Pittsburgh, is not going to be back. He is shut down for the rest of this season with a lingering health problem, and he is not going to be back. So not every single player is going to be back, but a large majority of the players that were out injured at the time that the season stopped will be healthy enough to play come, you know, late July, August, whenever this starts up. Most of them will be back, but not all of them. Yep, Connor Hellebuck is definitely an X factor for Winnipeg. That team has pretty rough defense roster at this point. But Hellebuck played outstanding without a doubt. That's going to be huge. You know, if Winnipeg wins that play-in series against Calgary, it will be because of Connor Hellebuck. Although I think I'm going to be taking Calgary in that series. Can I go over the draft? I mean, that's a vague question. What do you mean, like? The lottery, all they did was add a second phase to it because they don't know who the non-playoff teams are. But there's not even going to be a phase 2. If they do the original draft lottery, the top 3 picks get lotteried out, then they all belong to those 7 teams that did not make the final 24, then there is no phase 2 and you're ready for the draft. But the whole but the whole phase 2 thing makes it a little more complicated because they don't know who the teams are going to be yet. Will Kasha, Krejci, and DeBrusque tear it up? I have no idea. I'm not a fortune teller. No, but Jay Bouwmeester is never going to play in the NHL again. Not with a heart condition like that. Jay Bouwmeester's career is pretty much over at this point. I would say, while it hasn't been official, I don't see Bouwmeester ever playing again. The Lightning would destroy the Leafs forever. That year, don't be a delusional Leafs fan. The Leafs defense is so bad, they will get destroyed by Tampa Bay. Yeah, with the expanded rosters, NFL Nation, I would not be surprised to see Jack Studnicka get a chance to play in Boston's lineup. I don't think he's going to play a lot. I think Boston's going to stick with, their NHL team from this year. But Studnicka might get a couple games, or he's certainly going to get a look. But I think, he's someone that you're looking for towards the future. You don't want to ruin it now. I really don't see Boston going deep in these playoffs. I don't. They're a team that is. I thought that Boston overachieved this year, and I'm a Bruins fan, and I think they overachieved this year. I did not expect them to be at the top of the league. I think that when it comes down to it, and the thing about Boston is they beat up on lesser opponents. They win games that they should win, but they struggle against teams like Tampa Bay and Washington and Pittsburgh and those top teams in the East that they have to play. They usually struggle against those teams. So, best odds to win the cup, I think. The betting odds are Boston are at number one right now, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Philadelphia was one of those teams that could have very much gone either way this year. Aiden, I already answered that question. Philadelphia is very much a team that could have gone either way. I thought when I did my season preview for the Philadelphia Flyers, I said they could be as high as second or third in the division, or they could be as low as second to last in the division. And they were a team that could literally go either way, and it was going to be very difficult to gauge which way that they were going to go. Carter Hart played outstanding. They finally have a real goaltender. Kevin Hayes was outstanding, and I'll tell you, I'll be the first to admit, I was very wrong about Kevin Hayes. I did not like that signing at all for Philadelphia. He had a great year as their second-line center. Voracek put up a ton of points again. Giroux didn't have an outstanding season, but Couturier made up for it. Konechny had a massive year. Philadelphia is good. Philadelphia is very, very good. Yeah, Boston won the President's Trophy, so that means they probably won't win the Cup, because President's Trophy winning teams hardly ever win the Cup. 2013 Blackhawks and 2008 Red Wings are the only teams only President's Trophy winning teams post-lockout to win the Stanley Cup. No other team in the last 15 years has done it other than those two. So, again, Boston's probably not winning. Do I think Arizona has it? Every team has a chance to win. Every team in the play-in round has a chance to win. Absolutely, Arizona could beat Nashville. If Darcy Kemper gets hot and Darcy Kemper keeps those games low scoring, Arizona could absolutely beat the Predators without a doubt. I also think the Predators could sweep Arizona. If Arizona's defense isn't as good as it was at the beginning of the year, then I definitely think that, that could go the other way as well. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. This is going to be a complete toss-up when we come back. This is going to be like flipping coins. It's going to be a complete toss-up when we come back. Hey, what's going on, DMV? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Who will win, the Hurricanes or Rangers? I'm gonna do predictions when it actually gets closer. I have no idea right now. I'm not predicting these series right now. I'm gonna do predictions when we actually get closer to these games starting. Because right now we are still months away from actually having hockey games played, guys. Elliot Friedman today tweeted out that the earliest training camps will start, not even games, training camps. The earliest that they will start is July 10th. So that means we're looking at the beginning of August before a game is even played at the earliest. So it's still going to be a while before we have actual games being played. Maybe, yeah. The 2013 Blackhawks, which was a shortened season because of the half-season lockout, was the last President's Trophy winning team to win the Cup. So maybe Boston does do it in a, once again, shortened season. But, again, I'm not getting my hopes up for the Bruins this year. I'm going to be my usual pessimistic self and then be happily surprised if they actually are able to pull it off. But I'm not getting my hopes up, and I just think that there are some teams that they're going to have to go through that they don't play well against. Is it a good thing that the Leafs play Columbus instead? Yeah, I think that the Leafs can beat Columbus. Columbus does not have much for offense. Obviously, they have very, very good defense. But the Leafs can beat Columbus. Columbus could certainly beat the Leafs. If they keep that a low-scoring series, they absolutely could win that. But it's tough to say right now. But again, that's gonna be a very good series. Video I'm going to be doing at some point probably this weekend. I am going to rank the play-in series as far as which ones I'm most excited to see and which ones I think will be the best play-in series to watch. Toronto and Columbus is going to be high on that list, if not number one. That is going to be a fantastic series. All right, Leafs forever. See you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. No, I don't see the Islanders having much of a chance. The Islanders are not they weren't even going to make the playoffs. They are lucky the season got stopped when it did because they were not even going to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I agree with that, THG. The Islanders, out of all the teams in the East, I think the Islanders, Montreal probably has the lowest chance of winning the Cup, but the Islanders are pretty far down there. I'm really not that excited about Florida versus New York. I think that's going to be a kind of boring series, honestly. Yeah, it's two contrasting styles, 100%, but there's no real rivalry between the teams, and the way that both of them played this year, I think that series is going to be on the boring side in my opinion. But again, I've been wrong about series before. I thought Carolina versus Washington last year was going to be a really boring first round series, and it ended up being one of the best series of the entire first round. So what the hell do I know? I mean, anything can happen. DMV's hanging out with his girl on Saturday. There you go, buddy. Have some fun. Make the most of it, bro. Yeah, I will never be an optimist. Absolutely not. Pessimist all the way. Because, there's nowhere to go but up. You're either right or you're pleasantly surprised. If you're an optimist, you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed. That's not just hockey, that's life. If you think things are going to be good and then they turn out bad, then you're just going to be disappointed all the time. If you think things are going to be bad and they turn out bad, well, you were right. If they turn out good, then you're pleasantly surprised. Always keep your expectations low and give yourself room to be happily surprised if they go better. They should definitely not have stick fights, Eddie. God, it's like the scene in Youngblood when he has a stick fight and then obviously it doesn't end up completely being a stick fight. I never understood that scene because I've never actually seen two people square up with their sticks like this and stick fight like that. But Yeah, I'm not a fan of stick fighting. I'll keep it to the fists. What was the worst season for me as a Bruins fan? I don't know, because they were, like, when I was a kid, they were pretty bad for some years. The Dave Lewis 2006 season was brutal. So, all right, see you, TTC. Thanks for stopping in. I would definitely, the 2006 Dave Lewis season, absolutely, when he was, his 1 year as Bruins coach, he was absolutely horrible. Yeah, I can't stand that. That was definitely the worst that I can remember. Jeez, first beer's gone already. We're not even half an hour in. Let's go. Yeah, I'm with you, THG. I'm not a Varlamov fan. I think they should have kept Leonard. Bucks Skull Gang wants Boston versus Tampa Bay in the playoffs. I mean, I do too. That would be one hell of a series. There's no doubt about that. But both those teams got to make it that far. And given Tampa Bay's playoff history and given what I think of the Bruins this year is that they're an overachieving team, we don't know for sure that they're both going to make it that far, but we'll see. Yeah, Ovechkin dropping Svechnikov in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know what Svechnikov was doing there. He's not a fighter. He's not a tough guy at all. He's a goal scorer. And I'm very surprised that even happened, but Ovechkin just absolutely dropped him. I think that kid learned his lesson about fighting a big guy like Ovechkin. Varlamov is not good, NFL Nation. I've never liked Varlamov. I've always thought he was a very mediocre goaltender. Rob is rooting for like 12 teams in this tournament. I mean, I guess when your team's not in it, then you kind of, you have the ability to root for that many teams because Buffalo didn't even make it. I mean, God, bring back Jason Botterill. I'm got video coming out tomorrow about Jason Botterill coming back to Buffalo. Oh boy, it just never ends with that franchise. But I'm not going to talk too much about that because the video is coming out tomorrow, so you guys can get my thoughts on that by watching that tomorrow. But Jesus, yeah, I feel bad for Sabres fans at this point. Really, really bad. I should watch the final 30 seconds of Leafs versus Carolina 2002 Eastern Conference Final. The 30 seconds of it. Hey, 2002. You're going back almost 20 years there, and the Leafs haven't won a playoff series since 2004. So, no, Brandon, 2013 was a great year. Boston went to the Cup Finals and lost to a much better team. That 2013 Chicago team is the best hockey team that we have seen since 2005, since the lockout. Boston had no business beating that 2013 Chicago team. No business. I'm very content with Boston even making it to the finals that year. Chicago was the far superior team. That Chicago team is one of the best teams in NHL history. And I wouldn't exactly call it choking. It was a 1-goal game. It's not like they blew a 5-1 lead or a 4-1 lead. It was a 1-goal game, and Chicago was the better team. That was only Game 6 anyway. Boston was going to lose Game 7. I don't look at 2013 as a bad season at all. Anytime your team even makes it to the playoffs is a good season. Never mind like in 2006, Boston was a joke. Like that team was horrendous. I don't understand. Like if I'd be more than happy for the Bruins to make the Cup Finals. That's a great season no matter what. On the current roster, who is the one Bruins player who needs to show up? Well, I mean, they all need to. If you start having players not showing up, I mean, you're going to be in big trouble. Someone that I'm watching closely though is Charlie McAvoy. Charlie McAvoy needs to have a big, I guess, playoffs at this point. The round robin plus playoffs. Charlie McAvoy needs to show the level of player that he can be. McAvoy had a great season this year defensively, but he didn't show a whole lot offensively, and I'm fine with that. He's a defenseman, and I think it's very important. It's very important for young defensemen, especially, to learn the defensive side of the game, because you don't want to end up like Erik Karlsson, where you can put up a ton of points, but you're absolute dog shit in your own zone. You don't want to end up like that. So McAvoy was very good defensively this year. He showed physicality. He showed good positioning. I was thrilled with McAvoy's defensive game this year, but he didn't have a lot of points. He didn't put up a lot offensively. I want to see McAvoy have a big playoff and really show that he is going to be an elite number one defenseman, and he's someone that I'm definitely watching very closely. There is no home and away in these playoffs. I don't understand that comment. There is no home and away. I mean, there's gonna have to be a home team and a road team, but there is no home and away really in the playoffs. All of the games are going to be taking place in two hub cities, and that's it. They're not playing in the team's home arenas. Yeah, well, you got a pretty good chance of that happening, Rob. I do think that the Bills win the AFC East in the NFL this year. Which Avs player needs to show up for them to make a deep run? There's a lot that play a huge role on that team. I mean, Mikko Rantanen is one coming off of injury, where now he's going to be back healthy and be, McKinnon's right-hand man again. That's going to be huge. Tampa Bay lost in the Eastern Conference Final in 2018 to Washington. That was the furthest they've gone since 2015 when they went to the Cup Final and lost to Chicago. Once again, losing. Last year was the bad year for Tampa Bay. It's one thing to make it to the conference final and lose, or make it to the Stanley Cup final and lose, but when you're the best team in the league and you lose in the first round, and not only just lose in the first round, but get swept, now that's embarrassing. And that's why Tampa Bay was, shit on so much when it happened last year, by me included, because it's one thing to go deep and end up losing. And once you get to the conference finals, all those teams are so good, anyone can win. But losing in the first round to a wild card team and getting swept is pretty bad. So Tampa Bay definitely needs to go deeper into the playoffs this year than they did last year. They need to, I would say, for Tampa Bay to have a successful season, they need to go to at least the Eastern Conference Final. I don't even know if Grubauer is going to be the starter, Brandon. I think with the way that Pavel Francouz has played for Colorado, I think Colorado could make that goaltending switch very quickly to him over Grubauer. I would not be totally surprised if Francouz ends up getting more starts than Grubauer in the playoffs. I would not at all be surprised. I don't think Grubauer is that good. I think Grubauer is a good goalie. He's not a great goalie. And I think this season, Francouz is better. McAvoy still has a long way to go, NFL Nation. Again, with the Bruins bias here. McAvoy still has a long way to go. If you're going to be an elite number one defenseman, you have to play both sides of the ice. You have to play offense. You have to play defense. You got to put up points. John Carlson, 70-something points this year. Roman Josi had 60-something. If you're going to be an elite NHL defenseman, you've got to be able to put up points, and you've got to be able to play well defensively as well. McAvoy this year had a very, very good season defensively, but the offense isn't there yet. For him to be a top elite defenseman, the offense has to be there. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I would definitely be embarrassed if I were Tampa Bay about what happened last year, but you got to use that as motivation in the playoffs this year and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And if they can do that, then I think they could go very, very deep in the playoffs, because on paper, I think Tampa Bay is the best, most talented team in the Eastern Conference. The problem with them is, they do have a history of bad losses in the playoffs, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I love defensive defensemen, but defensive defensemen are not, elite NHL. They're great defensively, but they're not elite NHL defensemen. Even Zdeno Chara's best years were the years that he was scoring a bunch of goals as well, and that's why he was able to win the Norris Trophy, and that's why he was always, one of the best D-men in the league, is because he had that shutdown, lockdown defense that you played. Boston, when he was younger, Boston played Zdeno Chara against the other team's best player every single night. And he would try and shut them down, and he was very, very good at it. But he also could put up points, too. Chara could put up points in his younger days. And all the best defensemen in the league, the elite guys are able to put up points as well. Would I rather have Jacob Slavin or Erik Karlsson? Jacob Slavin, not even close. Jacob Slavin is the most underrated player in the NHL. I have said this over and over and over again. Jacob Slavin, Carolina's best defenseman, is the most underrated player in the NHL. He is incredibly good. It's Jacob Slavin, and it's not close. I at this point want nothing to do with Erik Karlsson. He is on a steep decline. He's got major injury problems, and he's terrible in his own zone. We have no idea. Jack, when the playoffs are going to begin. It's likely to be August at the absolute earliest. No, Vaughn, you don't know. Nobody knows. Hey, TJ, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Very much appreciated, as always. Sorry, I'm answering Snapchats. My bad. But they're the girls, so... Well, a girl, so I should answer. TJ's here. Welcome. Guys, remember, hit that like button, guys, and please subscribe if you are new. That would be greatly appreciated. We're always looking to add new people to the off-the-wall hockey community here. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, and hit that like button. Those thumbs up really, really help out a lot and are very, very much appreciated. But let's see. Red Rock. I don't know what you mean by Red Rock. What? Can Vegas win the cup? Absolutely. Vegas. All right. So their defense core is not outstanding. Their D core, it doesn't have a lot of star power. Although I think the addition of Alec Martinez is a very very good addition for Vegas. Their top six of the forward group is outstanding. Vegas's up front is just fantastic. And then you got Marc-Andre Fleury in goal, one of the best goaltenders of the past 15 years in the NHL. Vegas absolutely could win the cup. They're a team that I look at from that Pacific Division as a legitimate threat in the Western Conference. Am I in a closet right now? Absolutely not. I'm in my room. I'm not in a closet. No, it's not Amanda Vaughn. Guessed wrong. Carlson or Marner on your team? Oh, I'd take the number one D-man. John Carlson for sure. John Carlson is an elite NHL defenseman. So those are a lot harder to come by than high point producing forwards. You can find point producing forwards throughout, around the league. Defensemen like John Carlson are hard to come by. So I would definitely take him. No, it is not Amanda. What does the blue wrench mean? It means that those people are mods on the channel. No, I wasn't shocked at all. I didn't think that they were just going to. I didn't think that they were just going to hand the top teams a bye week, and the top teams didn't want a bye week because that would be a disadvantage if you gave the top 4 teams in each conference in a bye week and said that they did not have to play while the play-in rounds were going on. Then the teams from the play-in rounds are going to be already back into game shape, already much more focused and ready to go. And the other teams would be playing their first games in months. So they had to play. And I'm glad that Alec Martinez is very good, Vaughn. I don't know what you're talking about. So no, I'm not surprised that they have to play for seeding. You have to make them play for something. Otherwise, they would not be prepared come playoff time. Do I see the Caps winning the Cup again? Or do I see the Lightning winning the Cup? Both of those teams have very, very good chances in the Eastern Conference, without a doubt, to be Stanley Cup level teams. I mean, so does Boston, so does Philadelphia, and then you could always get a surprise as well. We've seen plenty of surprises over the years. I mean, this is a complete reset, guys. This is a complete reset. I think every team that makes the playoffs has a chance. And you know, this could be the year that we see a serious upset, where we see a team that, you know, no one really saw coming, just coming out of nowhere and winning. I think this could be a serious upset-filled playoffs this year, but we'll have to, you know, again, who knows, but we'll have to see. It's going to be hard to pick, though, because it could come from anywhere. I don't necessarily know that there's going to be a lot. I think that there's a chance for a lot. Again, the Lightning could possibly win. We don't know. They certainly have a chance. Who's my dark horse team? For actually, you know, a team that could go all the way. I don't know. You know, Dallas is a team that I think is interesting, as far as a team that could make a deep run, that not a lot of people are talking about. Although they are one of the top 4 teams, so I think you could possibly, you know, it's hard to call them a dark horse because they are one of the top 4 from the West. As far as teams playing in the play-in rounds that I think that are serious teams to watch, I think Nashville, a team that greatly underachieved this year, if they get it together and play well for 2 months and play to their potential for 2 months, they could be a cup team. Edmonton could be a cup team if they, you know, get it together, and if they can play well enough defensively. They certainly have the offense. We know that. In the Eastern Conference, you know, I think Carolina's a team to watch. People forget Carolina was in the conference final last year. Who's to say that they can't do that again? I mean, there's so many. There is so many. It's really hard to say. Hey, Card Collector, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Remember, hit that like button, guys, and subscribe if you are new. Most underrated rivalry in the league's history. That would require some serious thinking. I really don't know, Brandon. That would require some serious thinking. Caps versus Vegas. NFL Nation thinks Caps versus Vegas. That is a very real possibility. A 2018 rematch could certainly potentially happen. I don't know. The Sharks are not even don't even have a chance. The Shark season is over, Vaughn. They have no chance of making the playoffs. Philly, I'm not even counting Philly as a dark horse. They are one of the favorites in the East at this point. Philadelphia is one of the favorites in the East at this point. They were one of the top teams in the conference this year. Yeah, I mean, the Lightning, after what they did last year, choking out in the first round, the Lightning, I think, are going to have a big-time chip on their shoulder coming into the playoffs this year, without a doubt. no. The NHL, they've already said, Elliot Friedman tweeted today that the training camps are not even going to start until at least July 10th, which means we are not going to even have games until probably the beginning of August at this point, is what's likely to happen in the NHL. Vegas is very... all right, I'm going to start ignoring the stupid comments. I'm not even going to read them. I'm going to start ignoring the stupid comments because saying Vegas can't play well... I know you're a Sharks fan, Vaughn, but Vegas won the division this year. They were the best team in the Pacific Division. So saying that they can't play well is just flat out wrong. Carolina has absolutely some great D-men, and they added to their defense core even more at the deadline, adding Brady Shea, adding Sami Vatanen. They are absolutely loaded on the back end. Carolina is a team to watch because, you know, there's a lot of talk about Carolina and Rangers play-in series, and that Carolina might not even get past that play-in series, and they might not. The Rangers are a tough matchup. But if they get by the Rangers, they could potentially go 2, 3, 4 more rounds beyond that. Carolina is a very scary team when they're playing well, and I think they're definitely a team to watch. Vancouver's another one that's definitely a dark horse. I have more questions about Vancouver than I do some of the other teams, though. I have questions about Vancouver's defense. I still don't know if they're good enough defensively. And Jacob Markstrom had a very, very good year this year, but is he that level of goaltender who is going to lead a team to the Stanley Cup? That remains to be seen. So I definitely have some questions about Vancouver, but they're a good team, and they're a team that could certainly maybe surprise some people with how well they play, especially now that they're back healthy. Getting Brock Besser back, having JT Miller playing at the level that he's playing, having, obviously that great 1-2 punch down the middle of Elias Pettersson and Bo Horvat. I mean, that's a dangerous team, without a doubt. Vancouver is a dangerous team. You live in Tampa, that's cool. Hockey's going to be very popular this summer, Rob. I think people are very, very happy that it's coming back, and that it's going to be extremely exciting. I can guarantee you that. No matter what happens, it's going to be extremely exciting. I can guarantee you that. Bucks. I literally just spent like 5 minutes talking about sleeper teams. Why? I don't know why you're asking that question again. I just talked about it for like 5 minutes. Who are my top 2 in the NHL draft? Lafreniere going 1 overall, and Byfield I think is definitely the number 2 guy. And to get a center like Byfield in the top 3 is going to be teams are going to, you need help. Every team could use more depth down the middle. Byfield's going 2 in my opinion, absolutely. Vancouver making a run would be funny. I mean, they had a pretty good year this year until Markstrom got hurt. Vancouver was competing for the lead in the Pacific Division until Markstrom got hurt. So Vancouver's, with them healthy again, is going to be a very dangerous team. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, Bruins fan. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping back in. Great to have you here, and I'm cracking beer number 2. Remember to hit that like button, guys, and subscribe if you are new. Both of those things are very, very much appreciated. We're talking all things NHL tonight. There's obviously a lot to talk about. We've got, 2014 format set in stone. Return to play phases all in place, although we don't have dates on them yet, but they are in place. Hockey's coming back, it certainly seems like, hopefully. And it looks like we're going to be getting a summer playoff tournament here. Let's see. Your teams are the Lightning, Canes, and Caps. That's interesting because that you would root for all of those teams because they're all kind of rivals with each other in a way. So it's interesting that you root like all those teams. But hey, good for you, man. Glad you enjoy hockey. That's fantastic. Yeah, see, NFL Nation, I'm with you. Like, I don't see Boston beating Tampa Bay or Washington in a playoff series. I just don't. Now they could surprise me, but when Boston went to the finals last year, they didn't have to play Tampa Bay or Washington. I mean, Washington's a lost cause before it begins. Boston has beaten Washington, I believe, twice since 2014. We're talking a serious stretch of time here where Boston has beaten Washington 2 times in all the times that they've played since 2014. They don't beat the Capitals. They just don't. And then when we think back to when they played in the playoffs, the last time Boston and Washington met up in the playoffs, Washington won, and Boston was supposed to win that series. So I don't like Boston's chances against Washington. I don't like their chances against Tampa Bay either. I think Tampa Bay's a more talented team, and that's going to shine through at the end of the day. And I mean, listen, anything can happen. There's no doubt about it. But Boston just overall doesn't play that well against those two teams. So if they end up having to go through one of them in the postseason, I just don't see them winning. Yeah, but saying okay, all we have to do is shut down McDavid and Draisaitl and we're all set is a lot harder or is a lot easier than actually shutting down McDavid and Draisaitl. And when Edmonton made the playoffs for the back in 2016 or 2017, the year that they beat the Sharks in the first round, that was Edmonton's first time in the playoffs in forever. And nobody thought that they were going to do anything. Everyone thought that they'd be one and done against a much better team in San Jose. And that was 2017. That was 2017. Obviously, the Sharks went to the finals in 2016. So that was 2017. No one thought Edmonton was going to do anything in the playoffs that year. And they made it to the second round and they beat San Jose. And then they had a very competitive series against Anaheim in the second round. So, again, Edmonton's an interesting team because they're a team that I think could lose that play-in series against Chicago if they struggle defensively, could lose that series. Or I think they could be a conference final team if they play to their potential and play well. They're like how I thought about Philadelphia at the beginning of this season, where they could be up here or they could be down here, and anywhere in between. They're a very, very difficult team to gauge in Edmonton. Hey, welcome back, DMV. Montreal is playing Pittsburgh. Major League Baseball, the players and the owners are really fighting right now over money. And, that's putting a tough, really making the chances of having an MLB season this year pretty going down quite a bit. But again, who knows what's going to happen? Things could be completely different a week from now. We have no real way to predict the future. Hey, that's awesome, Tar Heels fan. I'm very glad that you're a fan of hockey. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. PGA Tour is coming back in a couple weeks. NASCAR is already back. So we're starting to get some stuff back, and it's getting closer and closer to things returning to normal. I agree, Vaughn. And I also agree, Rob, as well, that MLB needs some sort of reform for their contracts. The money involved with how much baseball players get paid are ridiculous. They have no salary cap. It's interesting. I think that they definitely need to fix some things, but they're very much in danger of not having a season this year, and it has nothing to do with COVID. It has nothing to do with the ongoing, thing. It has everything to do with money. It has everything to do with money with baseball. The players and owners are in a bitter feud right now as far as MLB is concerned. Damn it, the picture came out blurry. Alright, good enough. Let's see. Hey, Perlo's here. What's going on, Perlo? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Very, very much appreciated. We're talking all things NHL tonight. 2014 format, draft lottery, matchups between different teams that we could see. Pretty much anything NHL related we're talking here tonight. DMV says, will it be crazy if Edmonton and Calgary play in the conference finals? I mean, yeah, I think with the way the bracket looks now, I don't think we're going to see Edmonton versus Calgary meet up, which is unfortunate because I think they were going to meet up in a normal playoff year. But yeah, I mean, anytime Edmonton in Calgary plays, it's must-watch TV. It's the best thing going on in hockey. It's the best rivalry right now in hockey. I hope we see it, DMV. I really do. I'm not holding out hope. I think both teams would have to make it very, very far for us to see them match up, and I just don't think that that's going to happen. Nah, it's all good, THG. You just hit the X button and then take another one. Yeah, I think Calgary versus Winnipeg is going to be one of the most interesting. Going to be one of the most interesting play-in series for sure. I think Winnipeg's defense though just has me. I don't know. I do not trust Winnipeg's defense at all. Now Connor Hellebuck definitely makes up for that with his outstanding goaltending. But it's I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's gonna be a great series, that's for sure. I can't imagine it not being a great series. Yeah, Brandon, Ottawa sending Zibanejad to New York for Derek Brassard. That's pretty brutal. Ottawa didn't want to pay Zibanejad what they knew he was going to be worth, but I also don't think Zibanejad was a good young player and a very good prospect, but I didn't think he was going to turn into this great of a player. I didn't think Zibanejad was going to be this elite, this good. So I think, hindsight's always 2020. I think at the time, nobody really expected Zibanejad to turn out to be this good. But, he's obviously, now that we can see how his career has progressed, he has turned into an absolute superstar for the New York Rangers. And he and Panarin this year just lit it up and make one of the best dynamic duos in the entire NHL. I know Buffalo would be very happy, Rob, if Patrick Kane was able to win another Stanley Cup. Chicago is not a cup team. I'm sorry, but Chicago is not a cup team this year. Absolutely not. I give them about a 0.05% chance of winning the Stanley Cup this year. They're lucky that they're even able to continue their season. I mean, they're the last team in the West that was able to get in. I don't see Chicago going far. Remember the Winnipeg Jets tracksuit incident? I know that's involved. That eventually what got Evander Kane traded. I don't remember it I don't remember the details or anything specific about it, but I do remember it happening, and I remember that's what got Evander Kane shipped out of Winnipeg. But I don't that kind of drama stuff. I really never paid all that much attention to, especially back then. Yes, Jack Eichel. We can talk about Jack Eichel. Obviously made some searing comments today about how fed up he is with losing and how frustrating it is, and basically how bad the Sabres are. And they've said they're bringing back Jason Botterill for another year, even though Jason Botterill I don't think has done anything to make that team better. But you know, I don't blame Jack Eichel at all. I would be livid if I was on the Buffalo Sabres. Absolutely livid if I was on the Sabres. That team is just such an absolute mess right now. They haven't made the playoffs in 9 years. They cannot seem to find any ways to get that team headed in the right direction. Their player development is horrible. They trade guys away way too early. God, I could go. Jason Botterill video is coming out tomorrow, so you got my full thoughts on that. But it keeps getting worse and worse in Buffalo. And now the thing about Jack Eichel is that he signed a long-term deal with the Sabres, so he still has, I believe, 5 seasons left on that contract. So if he does want to leave, that's fine. He can leave in 5 years. I mean, there's no way, even if, he has no way to force himself out of Buffalo until his contract is up. Now, he can request a trade. He can go to the media and demand a trade. He can say that he wants to leave, but it's not like he can just pack his bags and leave. So he is under contract for a while longer. But I don't blame Jack Eichel at all for being upset. I don't blame him at all for being frustrated. That team's an absolute disaster. And looks like they're going to continue to be. So when you're a superstar player like Eichel, you want to win and you want to be on a good team. And they just don't seem to be able to put a winning team together. The NHL very well could lower the salary cap, THG. Given the amount of lost revenue this season, I think that they could very well end up lowering the salary cap. Now, I don't think they're going to drastically lower it, because that would put most teams in the league in a very bad situation if they were to drastically lower the salary cap. But I do think, at best it stays where it is. It is certainly not going to go up now. At best it stays where it is. I think they might lower it a little bit because of all the lost revenue. But, that's just what I'm not a business person. I'm not an insider with the league or anything like that. I have no idea what's actually going to happen. That's just my guess on what could happen there. Yeah, Brandon, for sure. Chicago fans are happy just to have a chance. Hey, welcome back, Tar Heels fan. Hey, Ray Bro's here. What's going on, Ray Bro? Appreciate you stopping in. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Tar Heels fan thinks the Bolts have a 9.9% chance of winning the Cup. Yeah, I would not... literally, Perlo, they might go out and just reach for free agents this year, which would be another terrible move on their part, but wouldn't put it past them. Welcome back, Jack. Appreciate you being here. Josh Rosen is a bust. Jason Botterill is the Mike Milbury of this decade. Well, Botterill I don't think has been as bad as Milbury, but I don't think he's done anything to greatly improve the Sabres team. Are they really that much better than they were when he took over? They're still one of the worst teams in the league. So I don't really know what he's done to make them better. You think they'll overpay for Toffoli? That would be a very, possible move for them. But, again, we'll see. I don't know if Toffoli would have any interest in even going there. But if they offer him a big enough contract, it's possible. Do I remember John Madden? Absolutely, John Madden. All right. Eric Lindros, John Madden is someone who I could definitely do an NHL Remember Him on, and very well might. Eric Lindros was a superstar in the league, Jack. Nobody doesn't remember Eric Lindros. Even if you weren't around when Eric Lindros was playing, you know who Eric Lindros is. He was an absolute star for a long time in the NHL. What is my baseball team? I'm from Massachusetts, so the Red Sox are my hometown team, although I've never really cheered for the Red Sox. I don't really have a baseball team. I follow baseball kind of just as a whole, very casually, but I don't really have a team that I root for heavily or anything like that. Samuel Girard will never be appreciated. Yeah, he's a very underappreciated defenseman, and Cale Makar is stealing the spotlight. I mean, he's my favorite player on Colorado. So Cale Makar is stealing the spotlight in Colorado as far as their defense core goes. But Samuel Girard's a very, very good young defenseman as well. I don't know why that would be your favorite DMV. That was very, very annoying. Especially when they ruined trivia. That was very annoying. Yeah, John Madden was a two-way. I mean, when you think of, like two-way forward, John Madden is certainly one of the first guys that come to mind as far as, older NHL players go. John Madden was unreal for a long, long time. Obviously, his best years came with New Jersey. Very, very underrated two-way center. Jay Pandolfo and Jamie Langenbrunner worked for the Bruins. Now, yeah, Pandolfo played for the Bruins at the end of his career and then got hired within the organization, and he's an assistant coach now. And I didn't know Jamie Langenbrunner works for the Bruins now. I did not realize that. That's very interesting. I did not know that Langenbrunner works for the Bruins. He must be up in the front office because he's not a coach. Wow, that's a very interesting dynamic there, Tar Heels fan. Hey, Brody's here. What's going on, Brody? Yeah, I was never going to Maine, Brody. I made that very, very clear. Jack says baseball still has bench clearing brawls. Yeah, better than hockey. Hockey doesn't have any bench clearers anymore, but I mean, that's the most fun thing about baseball. Brawls and ejections are the most fun thing about baseball. Yeah, Jiri Lehtinen was a very underappreciated player, especially with Dallas, 100%. Very underappreciated player. My favorite NHL team, Boston Bruins. I'm from Massachusetts, so hometown team, Bruins forever. Wow, Bruce Driver. There's a name that I have not thought about very much in my life. Absolutely. Very, very underrated. PK Subban is the most overrated player in the NHL. Does he bounce back? No. PK Subban has been going downhill for a number of seasons now, and he is at this point the most overrated player in the NHL. Cannot stand Subban. Big attitude, doesn't perform well on the ice. Even his last year in Nashville was not very good. I didn't think he'd be this bad with New Jersey. But, 18 points and a minus 21 this year. Subban is so overrated. Ugh. Yeah, I do remember that, Brandon. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny for sure. You're still mad about the Astros cheating? Jesus. How far can the Red Wings drop in the draft with the new rules? I honestly have no idea. I'm still confused about a lot of the things regarding the draft lottery. I feel like they can't drop that far though. I still feel like they can't drop out of the top 3 or maybe it's 4. I think the most that you can drop is 4 picks, I think. So I don't think they can drop that far, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Maybe if someone in the chat knows, more about the draft lottery than I do, then you can answer that question better than me, maybe. I'm still confused about parts of the draft, the whole draft thing, but I feel like the Red Wings can't drop that far. I think they're guaranteed a pretty high pick. Yeah, that's not true. Brody, you're a liar, Brody. You're a liar. That's not true. Yes, Mark. We're very aware Mark Savard's career was ruined by Matt Cook. Um, Brian Marchment. Wow, there's a throwback. Marchment, man. I remember watching a lot of old highlights of Brian Marchment. He was the king of the neon knee hit. He was the king of the neon knee hit. He threw a lot of those back in the day. He was always a pretty dirty player. But man, those players make the game interesting. That's for sure. Especially when they got guys going after him and other teams' enforcers trying to beat the shit out of him. So much fun. It just makes the game more exciting when you got guys at each other's throats, throwing punches, getting angry. It's good. Yeah, I thought so, Ray, bro. If you're projected to go 1, you can only drop 4 spots. So the Red Wings cannot. The Red Wings can't drop that far in the draft, and I think they're gonna get 1 or 2. I really think they're gonna get 1 or 2. Well, the draft lottery is always confusing, but now you have this extra phase 2 step to it that may or may not happen. So that just adds to it. Again, you just have to wait and see. God. Man, I don't even... My head's spinning with everything going on. Yeah, I mean, I think, especially if baseball doesn't play this summer, if the owners and players cannot agree to anything, I think hockey is going to get a very big spotlight this summer with these playoffs, 100%. And I think that could really bring a lot more attention to the NHL, which overall would be a very good thing. Eric Belanger, DMV, oh my God. That is an absolute throwback, bro. Dude, that's got NHL Remember Him written all over it. Eric Belanger, yes, I remember him. No, Brian Marchment played a while ago and was very interesting player. A lot of people hated him. A lot of people loved him. One of those polarizing guys for sure. Imagine if Ottawa gets 1 and 2. I mean, that's Lafreniere and Byfield. That would be insane for the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, 100%. Neon knee hits are not fun. And, Ulf Samuelsson ruined Cam Neely with a neon knee hit. And that Neely did come back, but that certainly shortened his career and definitely limited how good he was after that. As far as he couldn't play nearly as long as he should have because of that hit. Remember Craig Janney? Yeah, Craig Janney, Bruins player back in the 90s. Definitely. I mean, I wasn't alive when I didn't see him play live, but I certainly know the name knowing Bruins history. Woldwolf says baseball isn't coming back. Yeah, I mean, their players and owners are in a massive fight right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come back. Do I think hockey players are the least greedy? Yeah, I mean they get paid less because they don't generate. Their hockey is the least of the big 4 sports, but I think baseball players get paid a ridiculous amount. Football players, obviously, it depends on the position and stuff like that. Basketball players, I think, are probably the most greedy. But yeah, hockey players, obviously, they don't you don't hear about hockey players being greedy very often. Remember Sean Horkoff? Absolutely, Edmonton Oilers legend there. Joe Kelly Fight Club member. There you go, Justin. That was a good one for sure. Actually, some real punches thrown. Belanger finished in Tampa Bay. I don't remember. I remember Eric Belanger with the Philadelphia Flyers. When I think of Eric Belanger, I think of the Philadelphia Flyers. And again, I was pretty young when he was playing. Like, that's just a name that I know from like my early days getting into hockey. But I don't remember exactly. But I remember. I think of the Philadelphia Flyers when I think of Eric Belanger. Sergei Gonchar was sick with the Penguins. Yeah, Gonchar was a great offensive defenseman for many, many years in the NHL. Slewfoots are cheap plays, very much so. Very, very much so. All right, here we go. Eric Belanger. Yo, HTH in the house. What's going on? Welcome to the stream, HTH. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching. Very, very much appreciated. Oh God. I'm missing some of the chats here. My apologies. But HTH, hey, happy birthday to your grandpa. That's awesome, man. Tell him happy birthday, and awesome to have you here as always. That's great to have you stop in, man. Thank you so much. Let's see. Wow. Perlo was some some old school NHL drama here. Shanahan and Janney. Look at that. Wow, I didn't even know that. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah, guys, huge congratulations. Huge congratulations to HTH, everybody. He hit 11,000 subscribers, which, I mean, that's unreal. That is so many people. I have a little over 1,000. He's got 11,000 subscribers now. So everyone give a big congratulations to HTH for 11K. That is absolutely insane. And, you know, his channel... I've been saying this for a while. His channel is going to be at 25K very, very soon. I see him really blowing up. I mean, my favorite hockey channel on YouTube for sure. So really appreciate him being here, and certainly deserving of all the congratulations, man. That is incredible. That's awesome. Wow, yeah, no, I appreciate that, HGH, for sure, man. Thank you so much for all your support, and I hope someday I'm at 11K. That will be really, really cool when I hit a number like that. I mean, that's nuts. But just grinding it out for now, and can't wait to get hockey back. Oh boy, DMV here. Brendan and Sean Morrison. I remember both of them. They played for the Capitals. I remember both of them. Max Afinoganov. He was a Buffalo Sabre for a long time. I already did a NHL Remember Him on Max Afinoganov. Classic Sabres guy from the mid-2000s. Loved his name too. Great name. Alexander Semin. Yep, I pretty sure I did an NHL Remember Him on Alex Semin as well. He had some spectacular seasons with the Washington Capitals, but then his career went very downhill after that. His punishment was being traded to Hartford. Yeah, Perlo, that's a good one for sure. Hey, of course, HTH, no problem. Anytime, bro. Thank you so much for all your support of me and my channel, too. That really, really helps out so much and means so much. Yeah, Ray Bro coming over from the HCH squad and joining this community as well. I mean, there it is right there. Like, having him, you know, so many of my subscribers have come from other channels, and particularly HTH. Just, it's incredible. It really means so much. Yes, Jack. Steve Downey's hit on Dean McCannon. That was a extremely dirty hit. He literally launched himself like 4 feet in the air at Dean McCannon's head. That was an extremely dirty hit. Sergei Fedorov was a very, very good player, Jack. Absolutely. Whenever you hear knee cramps, yeah, I mean, hockey players are so much tougher than players from all the other sports as far as that goes. Like the things that hockey players play through, when you literally have basketball players getting carried off the court because they're cramping up. I mean, it's such a joke, the other sports compared to hockey players. I don't even want to start that discussion, but LeBron, leaving a game because of knee cramps and getting carried off the floor. Meanwhile, you have hockey players playing with broken jaws, separated shoulders, broken bones, torn ACLs. Like it's a whole different breed in hockey compared to other sports, without a doubt. Next let's see, what was it on? Steve Downey's also a piece of shit as a person. I mean, I don't know him personally, and I don't know a lot about him personally, so I'm not going to speak on that. But I wouldn't be surprised, Jack. But I don't know personally if he is or not. Steve Dangle for Conn Smythe if Toronto wins the cup. That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious, but obviously not going to happen. Detroit Red Wings, the Robidas Island of the NHL. Yeah, things certainly haven't gone well for them lately. Yeah, Rob, the Sabres coming out of the lockout were fantastic. That was especially that 06 and the 07 team. Those teams were so much fun to watch, for sure. I loved those Sabres teams. I was a Sabres fan. When Derek Roy and Jason Pominville were first coming into the league, I was a huge fan of those Sabres teams. Chris Drury, Max Afinogenov, Brian Campbell on defense, Jay McKee. I loved those Sabres teams back in the day. Whoa, Sutton, man. Come on. We don't need talk like that in the chat. What's going on, bro? Dude, DM me on if you need to talk or anything, Sutton, DM me on Discord, bro. Like, I don't want to be hearing stuff like that in the chat. That's not good, man. I hope everything's okay. Get on Discord if you need to talk, dude. That's rough, man. Yeah, HGH 100%. Things are good. If we get Boston versus Toronto in the playoffs again, things are going to get heated for sure. But it's going to be all in good fun and all backing our teams, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I don't really want to play Toronto again. I'd like to see another matchup there, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, Erik Karlsson played. He literally played better the playoffs that he had the broken foot than like any other time in his career. It's wild to think about that, Ray, bro. But he did. His best time frame of his career was literally when he had that broken foot. He was playing so good, and then it's been all downhill since then. What do I think of Sean Avery? I hate Sean Avery, Jack. Always hated him as a player. I mean, he definitely made the game interesting and fun, but he was a great villain and a great guy to hate. So yeah, I've always hated Sean Avery. Tyler Ennis was sick in Buffalo. Yeah, I played hockey for 12 years, Justin. I started playing hockey when I was a little kid and played all the way through high school. So I did play hockey. Chris Pronger, great defenseman. Great defenseman. Chris Pronger had an outstanding career. Very big, tough, physical player. Definitely was dirty at times, but most of those physical, tough players are dirty at times. And he played hockey the way that I like to play, that I like players that play hockey. And I'm a big fan of Chris Pronger, and he had a great career, and it did get cut short, unfortunately, thanks to Mikhail Grabovski's stick. But Pronger was a great defenseman for a long, long time. Ryan Miller was ugly looking but played great. Yeah, Ryan Miller was a fantastic, fantastic goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres. Definitely, I would say probably their second. Dominik Hasek is the greatest goaltender in Buffalo Sabres history, in my opinion. He's one of the greatest goaltenders in NHL history. Ryan Miller is number 2 as far as Buffalo Sabres go, in my opinion. Yeah, so Carolina getting a Stadium Series game. Is that what you're talking about, Tar Heels? I did see that. Eric No-Legged Carlson. Jesus. God, the chat's going fast. My apologies, guys. We got quite a few people here tonight, which is great. I really appreciate you guys all being here. Really, really means a lot to see this much support for the channel. I do apologize, though, if I miss your chat, because... it is scrolling pretty fast here. NHL players I have met before they became famous. I have not met any NHL players that before they became famous, Jack. No. Matt Cook is not outside my house, Vaughn. Jesus. I mean, there's been... I think... Wait, what year did Pronger's eye injury happen? I think... Was the visor rule already in effect at that point? Because the visor rule is grandfathered in. So basically, players in the league before a certain date do not have to wear a visor if they don't want to. But every player that came into the league after that date does have to wear a visor. Did that visor rule come in right after Pronger's injury? Because that would kind of make sense. But there's still, Getzlav doesn't wear a visor. He's been in the league a long time. Chara doesn't wear a visor. Zach Cassian, I believe, does not wear a visor. Joe Thornton, I believe, still does not wear a visor. Jamie Benn does not wear a visor. There are a few guys left that don't wear visors. They're obviously guys that came into the league before that rule went into effect. But yeah, new players all have to wear visors now, and Pronger's injury probably does have probably a big reason why. Oh man, Ray bro, that sucks, dude. That COVID ruined the plans. Yeah, but hey, hopefully when hockey does start back up again and junior leagues start back up again and stuff like that, hopefully you're able to start playing again and get some get a play either in. All right, so that was in 2010. Wow, that was 2010, bro. That feels so like, I can't believe that was 10 years ago now. That is wild. That is wild. Mike Ribeiro faked injuries. Oh, I'll never forget the faking. Oh yeah, Mike Ribeiro faked injuries. I'll never forget him diving around on the ice after getting his little hand slashed in the 2004, I believe it was, playoffs against Boston. But yeah, Mike Ribeiro faked injuries. I'll give you that one, Jack, for sure. Sutton got a Tuukka Rask card. There you go, Sutton. That's a good one. I do remember that, Brandon. And then he ended up in the All-Star game anyway because us, the fans, wanted him in the All-Star game. Because John Scott, being an NHL All-Star, was one of the most fun things that have happened in the NHL in recent memory. And he played well. He scored a couple of goals. Like, he actually played well. And then I watching John Scott in the All-Star game was just so much fun. Like that was so much fun, and like, hockey needs more fun. Like it's such an old school rigid. It's weird because like sometimes it's very old school and rigid, and other times it's the exact opposite. I don't know why people were upset about John. The All-Star game doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. So, like, who cares if John Scott plays in the All-Star game? I mean, it was so entertaining. I don't get why people were upset about that. I've never really watched the SPHL Tar Heels fan. I know it exists. It's the Southern Professional Hockey League. It's a low-level pro league in the U.S., but I've never really watched it or anything like that. All right, Sutton, that's cool, man. Vaughn's foot hurts, so I don't know what he wants me to do about that, but good to know. Leo Komarov doesn't have to wear one, so does Patrick Marleau. Yeah, guys who have been in the league before that rule came into effect don't have to wear one, but most of them do. There's not many guys left that don't wear visors. Most of them do. I mean, Marchand's been putting up some serious points here recently, so hey, if he gained some extra space with the way that he plays, then good for him. Wow, you went to school with Kirby Doc, Ray, bro? That is nuts. That's sick, dude. That is awesome. I don't know if you watched my favorite players on Chicago, but Kirby Doc was one of my favorites on Chicago. I think he's got a great NHL career ahead of him. I love Kirby Doc. That's really, really sick that you went to school with him. No one cares about the All-Star game, Rob. John Scott in the All-Star game was one of the best things I've ever seen in the NHL. No one cares about the All-Star game. No one even tries anyway. It's a joke. Like, I would not be against them just getting rid of the All-Star game. The skills competition is 1,000 times better than the actual All-Star game. The All-Star game sucks. Yeah, John Scott hitting Justin Bieber. Nothing better than that. Love seeing Bieber get absolutely hammered, for sure. Yeah, Josh Ho-Sang, very overrated prospect. I don't see him ever becoming an NHL regular player. Yeah, 100% Justin for sure. Heart and balls in the bloody sock game. You don't see that very often in baseball. Tar Heel fans, SPHL team is Huntsville. Again, I don't know much about that league. Oh, definitely Ray, bro. That's awesome, man. You and Kirby Doc, that is sick. Yeah, there's not gonna be an All-Star game next year. So, good. As far as I'm concerned, good. That's a waste of a 4-day, 5-day break anyway. The All-Star game should have battle royals. Now that I would maybe watch. But that I'm not big on the All-Star game. You had a dream that the Cup final was the Senators and the Kings, and the Senators won 5-0. Damn, that's a very interesting one, Sutton, considering both of those teams are pretty terrible. Who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe 5, 6, 7 years from now, it will be Senators Kings. Who knows? Let's see. What else am I doing here? Yamamoto is overrated by Oilers fans. Maybe a little bit by Oilers fans, but I personally am very high on Yamamoto. I think he's going to be a very good second-line winger for Edmonton. I like Yamamoto a lot. He's small, but he's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of determination, and he doesn't let that size affect him. I think Yamamoto is going to be a pretty solid 25-ish goal scorer year in and year out for the Edmonton Oilers. Tar Heels fans' favorite playoffs moment is Canes Caps first round. That was obviously last year. The Canes pulled off the upset. Yeah, that was a great series. That was one of the series going into the playoffs that I didn't think was going to be that good. I mean, when I talked about the series that I was excited for in the first round, it was obviously, Boston versus Toronto. It was Pittsburgh versus the New York Islanders. It was St. Louis versus Winnipeg. Series like that. And Capitals and Hurricanes ended up being one of the best series of the first round. Maybe the best of the first round. So that one was a lot of fun. All right, really, Ray Bro, that's awesome. I'll check that after the stream is over. That's sick. Wow, Sutton, are your dreams predicting the future here? Yeah, that I don't know what the hell happened with that, Jack. Like why they did the targets that way. There should not be computerized targets in the skills competition. They should be legitimate targets made out of, whatever they use, whatever, they want to use for it, but they should be a legit target that kind of blows up when it gets hit. That was way better than the computerized targets that they used this year. Those really sucked in my opinion. Hey, all right, Perlo. Thanks for watching and stopping in. Very, very much appreciated. It really means a lot. So great to have you here, and I'm glad we've been able to do some videos together as well. It's always a fun time. What did I think when Toronto was up 4-1 in the third period of Game 7 in 2013? I thought Boston was done. I thought that game was over and Boston was done. And they obviously proved me wrong, but very happily proved me wrong. All right, Tar Heels fans, sounds good. Thank you so much for watching. Very, very much appreciated. Great to have you on the stream. And welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for becoming a part of the Off the Wall hockey community. You're ready for Ryan Reeves to destroy PK Subban? PK Subban would never fight Ryan Reeves. Reeves is the toughest guy in the NHL. Subban wants nothing to do with that. You knew Kirby was going top 5? Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. And I think he showed in this year with Chicago that he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him. Absolutely. Yeah, literally, Brandon. Everybody wanted Calgary versus Edmonton. It was setting up to happen. It was going to be the 2-3 matchup in the Pacific Division. And then coronavirus said no. Like, it said no to everything else. So that kind of sucks. There is still a slight possibility if both Calgary and Edmonton go deep into the playoffs that it could happen, but I don't see both of those teams going that deep. I don't know if really either of those teams are going to go that deep. So, we'll have to wait and see. Again, anything is possible, but it really sucks because that was literally pretty much likely to happen, and now it's probably not. And I really, really wanted to see Calgary and Edmonton in the playoffs. Hey, that's really cool, Jack. You got to meet both Kachuk brothers when you were a little kid because they went to the school your mom worked at. That's really, really cool. You want Evander Kane to destroy PK Subban? I'd be down for anybody to destroy PK Subban, but Kane, definitely someone that could do it. Evander Kane, underrated toughness in Evander Kane because he's not, Ryan Reeves is a tough guy first. That's his job. Evander Kane is a goal scorer first, but Evander Kane is a very, very tough guy. And he can fight with the best of them in the NHL. There's no doubt about that. And he's always been that way. He's always played that way. Consuela is an underrated Family Guy character. I definitely agree with you on that, Brandon. Some very, very funny scenes in Family Guy have had Consuela in them without a doubt. So I cannot disagree with you on that. Oh, damn. I think I finished both beers. Both beers are gone. So, Let's see. We've been going an hour and 40 minutes or so now. So, oh, more chats coming. Cool. All right, we'll keep it going. I'm probably going to end this around 10 o'clock, guys. So I think 2 hours is pretty solid. So I'm probably going to end this. Wait, Jack, why do you keep asking that? I already talked about that. About the Bruins Toronto being up 4-1. I literally talked about that like 5 minutes ago. Do I like Leon Draisaitl? I mean, yeah, he's fine. He's obviously had a monster year this year. I don't have anything against Leon Draisaitl, but I'm not like particularly an Oilers fan or anything. So I don't know. I wouldn't say like strong feelings either way. Hey, Derek's here. What's going on, bro? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching. Very much appreciate it as always. Remember, guys, hit that those thumbs up button. That thumbs up button and give this video a like. It really, really helps out a lot. Very, very much appreciated. And please subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new. We're always looking to add more people to become part of the Off the Wall Hockey family here. But you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for your support. Just continuing this channel. This channel, we are very, very close to 1.4K subscribers, which means this channel has continued to grow despite not having hockey, which is a testament to you guys and all of you who continue to support this channel. It really, really does mean a lot. Draisaitl did have a tough start to his career. Absolutely. He did not get off to a fast start or anything like that, but he's turned into a superstar player without a doubt. And that's why you can't give up on players too early. I did that whole video a couple weeks ago now about why it's really important to allow players to develop and not give up on them too early, because not everybody is going to come into the league and be a superstar right away like Connor McDavid or like Austin Matthews or someone like that. You got to give them time to develop, and they can still turn out to be an elite level player. I mean, face-offs are... I don't know why... Face-offs aren't like a major stat to me. I mean, they're... Obviously, you need some guys that can win face-offs, and some players are very, very good at face-offs like Patrice Bergeron, but face-offs aren't like a make-or-break stat for me at all. So... I'm not... If Connor McDavid's biggest issue is his face-offs, then he is a damn good player. He's the best player in the league, but he's an extremely, extremely... he's in very, very good shape if his biggest problem is his face-offs. And Sidney Crosby was the same way. Sidney Crosby was not good in the face-off dot early in his career, but as he got older and as he got better, he got much better in the face-off dot and is now, worked on it and worked on it and worked on it and became one of the best face-off guys in the league. So Connor McDavid, people forget, is still just a kid. He's only, 23 years old? And, I mean, if face-offs are his biggest problem, I mean, I'd be perfectly fine with that if I'm the Edmonton Oilers. Sergei Samsonov, there's a Bruins throwback. He also played for... Oh, God, where'd Samsonov go after Boston? Edmonton, Carolina, and Montreal, I think he all played for. After leaving Boston. But yeah, Sergei Samsonov's an absolute throwback. An absolute throwback name there. Which goalie fell off the cliff the most, Mason or Condon? Well, Mason had more sustained success than Mike Condon. Mike Condon was just kind of a flash in the pan, had like one really, really good year, and then was just garbage. Mason had more sustained success. Yeah, he had some really good years with Columbus, also some not so good years, and then he had some good years with Philadelphia as well. And then so Mason's success was a lot more sustained, and then he kind of disappeared. Whereas Mike Condon was very much a flash in the pan. I mean, I like plus minus, especially in extremes. Extreme cases of plus minus very much tell me if someone is a good defensive player or not. Like Patrice Bergeron is like plus almost 200 in his career. Patrice Bergeron is one of the best two-way players of all time in the NHL. If you're minus 40, you suck defensively. I don't care who you are. I don't care what team you play on. If you're minus 40, you suck defensively. Andreas Athanasiou is useless defensively. That it plus minus shows guys that can't play in their own end. And if you can't play in your own end, you're not going to be very successful at the NHL level. So guys with heavy minuses are very much a warning sign to me. And like Alex Ovechkin was a guy who had some heavy minus years and was awful defensively, and then turned his game around, learned how to play a 200-foot game, and has been significantly better in the plus-minus department since then. I have no use for players that are useless defensively. I don't care if you're a forward. I don't care if you're a 100-point scorer. If you can't play in your own end, I have no use for you. I would much rather have guys like Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand, who are elite-level scorers and some of the best forwards in the game, and also great defensively, kill penalties, and do a lot more than just put up points on the board. Fernando Pisani, yes, another Oilers throwback there. He was on the Oilers team in 2006 that went to the Cup Finals and only to lose to Carolina. But yes, certainly remember Fernando Pisani. Remember Nazem Kadri, of course. What? Very much no Nazem Kadri. Vaughn, shut up. Just shut up, Vaughn. From NHL standards, Connor McDavid is still very, very young. How would I not remember Noel Acciari, Sutton? How would I not remember Noel Acciari? He literally was on the Bruins last year. Chicago can upset the Oilers. It's possible. It's definitely possible. I don't think I'm going to pick that to happen, but it's definitely possible. I should do... Yeah, well, I have one recorded that Josh is still working on with Amanda. And then I need other people to do the name pronunciation video. Like, I need other people to do it with. So I don't really know who else... who else to do it with, unless, I make some new friends along the way or something. Yeah, well, if she's your fake girlfriend, Vaughn, then she probably isn't going to answer you. I love shorthanded goals. Shorthanded goals are great. Marchand's got 1 billion of them. Shorthanded goals are highlights for sure. No, I don't remember that, Brandon. No, I don't know Fabian Brunstrom from the Dallas Stars. I do not know him, Ray Bro. That's a name that I am not sure of. Sutton wants to know if he should make mac and cheese. Yeah, I would say go for it, Sutton. If you're hungry, mac and cheese is a great option. So I would say go for it. W's in Europe are pronounced as V's. Yeah, in some of the languages, yes. I feel like not all of them, but some of them, yes. Favorite face-off win? I don't remember. I don't pay attention to face-off wins enough, Vaughn, to have a favorite face-off win. Brunstrom was a legend. Now I gotta look this up because I don't. Why don't I know this? Why don't I know this? Fabian Brunstrom from the Dallas Stars. What happened? He was a left wing. He went undrafted. How long did he play in the NHL? Oh, not very. He had one. What? He had 1 year in the AHL and or the NHL in 2009-10, and then went to the AHL, and then went to the Red Wings for a short time. Only played 5 games, and went back to Europe. Yeah, he played 35 games with the Toronto Marlies in 2010-11. But he spent more. He barely played in the NHL. No, I don't know this player really at all. And then he went to Europe, back to Europe. Wow. No, I don't know. But he did play a few NHL games, that's for sure. Oh yeah, I mean that's obviously not what you want, Jack. You never want to lose a defensive zone faceoff cleanly. Absolutely never want to lose a defensive zone faceoff clean and have it lead to a goal against. That's not, yeah, you never want that. Coaches will certainly get very, very mad. What is the popular shot in hockey? I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I'm going to say the wrist shot is probably the most popular shot. Yes, Brandon, I remember that. I do remember that. Hey, welcome back, Eddie. Thanks for stopping in and watching. Very much appreciated. Yeah, he didn't play a lot of NHL games though. He also played he played 5 games in Detroit as well. But he did not play a lot of NHL games. Yeah. Oh, he did. He played 2008-2009 with Dallas. It actually had 17 goals in 55 games. That was actually a good year for him. And then 2009-2010, he played 44 games with Dallas, and then got sent to the AHL. And then in 2011-2012, he played 5 games with Detroit, but spent most of that year in the AHL and then went back to Europe after that. He also played for the Marlies in 2010-11. So he split that season between the Texas Stars and the Toronto Marlies in the AHL. So, yeah, a couple NHL seasons, but never any long-term success for him. Not even a player I even remembered at all. So that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, Brandon Gormley. He was a high draft pick for the Coyotes, I believe. I remember that from my Remember Him or not my Remember Him series, my Hit or Miss series. When I looked at first round draft picks, but Gormley never made it in the NHL. Hey, welcome. See you later, Jack. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always, bro. Thank you so much for being here. And JJ, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching. Very, very much appreciated. Great to have so many people here tonight. It's awesome, guys. Thank you for your support. Remember to hit those likes. Those thumbs up go a long way. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. Really, really helps out a lot. And we'd love to have you become a part of the Off-the-Wall Hockey family if you're not already. Do I think Gensel will be a beast next year? Absolutely. Gensel and Crosby are so good together. So good together. Gensel is a big time goal scorer. And I 100%, when he's back healthy, he's going to be a great top-line winger once again. The Bruins in the 70s were your favorite, Sutton? Yeah, I love going back and watching old games and old highlights and stuff from the 70s. That was a great time for the Bruins for sure, and a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, Brandon. Yep. I do. The Lars Eller trade tree is actually a very interesting trade tree when you look at it. Andrew Shaw, though, did not exactly work out as to plan for Montreal, to say the least. Again, injury issues definitely played a role in that. Vaughn thinks that Bill Peters is going to win Coach of the Year in the KHL next year. Good for you, Vaughn. Okay. I mean, I don't really follow the KHL, but we'll see. Oh, you meant the jerseys, Sutton? Yeah, I don't really care about jerseys all that much. I mean, there's good ones and there's not good ones, but yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, Gensel is going to be fully healthy when the NHL does come back. Once I think he's going to light it up in the playoffs. He's a huge playoff performer. So yeah, I absolutely expect him to be at full strength when hockey comes back and to absolutely light it up alongside Sidney Crosby. Shaw had that one really good year with Montreal, and then it was all downhill from there. Remember Rene Bourque? Yeah, he stuck around as a depth player for a while. I know he played with Montreal. He played with Colorado, I believe. I forget who else, but I certainly remember Rene Bourque, specifically with Montreal. Do I think Hartford? No, Hartford is not a big enough market to support an NHL team. Financially, just not even remotely conceivable. Hartford, Connecticut is literally right. You have Bruins fans on one side and you have Rangers fans on the other. Hartford is not nearly a big enough market to support an NHL team financially. It's just not possible. Bill Peters got Pavel Datsyuk. Yes, he is coaching the team that Datsyuk is playing for now in the KHL. Remember Francois Beauchemin? Absolutely. You guys are throwing with the exception of Brunstrom, who did not play very long in the NHL, these guys are all players that I'm going to know, guys. If they played in the 2000s/2010s and they had even a notable NHL career, I'm going to know the player. Francois Beauchemin was a very good defenseman for a long time with the Ducks, with where else did he play? And he played in Toronto for a while. He had a very good NHL career. Omaha? No, Nebraska I don't think has a big enough population for an NHL team. Listen, the NHL, I think if they go anywhere, Houston would be next on the list, or maybe Milwaukee. But I think, Seattle is just coming into the league, and I don't think they're going to expand beyond 32 teams. So I don't see that happening. Yeah, Hartford played in a mall. Yeah, I mean, it's not financially possible. You need billions and billions of dollars now for an NHL team, and it's just again Quebec City. Listen, Quebec City. We know the Nordiques left. They're always going to play second fiddle to the Montreal Canadiens. They're always going to be a little brother to Montreal. And again, financially, I don't think is going to happen. I don't think the NHL is going to go to Quebec City again. I just don't think so. Yeah, but how would Omaha, Nebraska do from a TV rating standpoint? How would they do from a financial standpoint? I just don't see it happening. I don't think Omaha is even on the radar of the NHL. I think Houston and Milwaukee are probably the next most likely two places to potentially get a team. So Houston's got a massive TV market. We're natural rivalry with Dallas. They've always had massive support for minor league hockey in Houston. I think they're very likely to at some point get an NHL team. Yeah, Andrew Desjardins, he played for the Sharks for a long time. I watched him a lot with the Worcester Sharks in the AHL because they played against Providence all the time. I saw a lot of Andrew Desjardins, and then he also played for the Rangers towards the end of his career as well, but did not last very long with New York. And then he was out of the league. No, Vaughn, Atlanta is not a good market. Atlanta has failed twice as an NHL market. Atlanta has never come close to supporting an NHL team. Never come close. Atlanta is not a good market. Yeah, Saskatchewan doesn't have enough population, Brandon. It's not going to happen. Yes, the Seattle-Vancouver natural rivalry there is going to be absolutely sick, without a doubt. I'm very excited to see what Seattle turns into. I think that's going to be a great addition to the league. Vegas was a home run, has worked perfectly. I think Seattle is going to go very, very well. It's going to go very, very well as well. Hey, Atlanta's failed twice as an NHL city. With Milwaukee, I think Wisconsin could definitely use a team. That's why Milwaukee, I think, is near the top of the list as far as places that could get an NHL team. Absolutely. Because Wisconsin, they obviously, that's an area of the country that's very into hockey. They love college hockey. They're very supportive of it, so that would definitely be a possibility. All right, guys, we have gone over the 2-hour mark. It is after 10 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap up the stream now. We had a very, very good stream tonight. I cannot thank you guys enough for all being a part of it. Really, really appreciate all your support of this channel. Remember to subscribe if you are new and hit that like button and give the thumbs up if you haven't already. That really, really helps out a lot and is very, very much appreciated. But man, we had some new people in the chat tonight. We had a lot of OGs who have been on this channel for a long time. Really, really awesome. It's been a great night, great stream, and I really can't thank you guys enough for that. So, this is gonna do it for tonight. We were over 2 hours. I'll let you guys know when I stream again, or will be streaming again. Always keep an eye on that community tab, guys, because I'd either announce it the morning of or the day before. So, give you guys a little bit of warning as to when the next stream will be, so you guys are all aware. But join the Discord. I know we've had some new people here tonight. If you're not in the Discord chat and want to be, there's an invite link in the description. So please check that out. But yeah, this was a really fun stream, guys. We talked about a lot of different things, a lot of different topics, and it was good. I've got a bunch of videos coming out over the next few days, so be on the lookout for those. We talk about all different things in the NHL, and what else was I going to say? I don't even remember, but I'll let you guys know when I'm going to be streaming again. But with that, thank you all so much again for your support. Like and subscribe, and I'll be talking to you all very, very soon. Have a great night, and talk to you next time.